Good evening, everyone. Hey, welcome into the Confident Autistic live stream. I am the Confident Autistic, but you can call me Chris, and this is the Confident Autistic Live. If you're new here, this is the space where we can drop the mask and start seeing ourselves clearly and living confidently autistic. So let me know in the chat where you are streaming this event from tonight. Say hi. I'll give you a shout out. And I realized I left my ball in the other room, and it's like I'll make it through the night. I promise. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about something that can completely change our stress levels, emotional regulations, and daily functions as autistic adults. And that's called routine. Now, I want to say this right away. Needing a routine is not a weakness. It is not being difficult and is not being too rigid. For many autistic adults, routine is regulation. Routine can help reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. And routine can also help reduce decision fatigue, anxiety, and even burnout. But here's the hard part. A lot of us, including myself, struggle to actually build a routines that work consistently. Consistently, constantly. Either way, sometimes we try to do too much too fast. Sometimes we create routines based on pressure and burnout, or we abandon our routines completely after one bad day. I know I've done that and say, oh, forget it. Maybe I'll try tomorrow. I've done that. What about you? Have you ever done that? Tried to start a routine and if not going well, and you say, screw it, I'm going to do it tomorrow? So tonight, we're going to talk about how to create routines that actually support autistic brains instead of fighting against them. Now, let me ask you in the chat right now, do routines help you feel calmer or do they sometimes make you feel trapped? For me, routines make me feel calmer. I don't feel trapped by a routine, mainly because I created the routine. I do not feel trapped at all. What I feel trapped is when somebody interrupts my routine or something comes in the middle of my routine that I have to deal with. Then I feel trapped. Like, I want to get back to my routine. I don't know about you, but that what happens to me. I see that Vance is streaming from Kentucky. Hey, welcome in. So, yeah, so does a routine help you feel calmer? Or do they make you feel trapped? For me, calmer. I'm on team calmer here. But if you're on team trapped, hey, that's fine. But first, before we get into that, I would like to share some information with you. First of all, thank you. We have reached 352 subscribers. Yes, 352 subscribers. We finally made it to that mark.
That was easy.
It wasn't really easy, but we do appreciate each and every one of you who subscribe to the channel. Now, we would like your help in getting the channel to grow. So I would like you to like this video. Be sure that you comment on this video. Share this video with friends, neighbors, pets, whoever might be interested in this, or maybe even not interested. Just go share it. It's okay. And be sure to subscribe to this channel. And when you subscribe, don't forget to click on that little bell to be notified of new uploads and when I go live on the channel. Excuse me, I'm tired. I don't know why I'm yawning, but I am. And did I go backwards? I think I went backwards. And I do have a free gift for you. Yes, I do. So let's talk about this free gift. And this is called Live Confidently Autistic, a guide to understanding yourself and building confidence. And I'm going to do that there. Okay. Um, and building confidence. Now, this guide will help you embrace your neurodivergence with pride. It will help you overcome self doubt and build lasting confidence. And it will also help you navigate life authentically and unapologetically as your autistic self, your confident autistic self. So you want to grab your copy. You can either grab it at the link I'm putting into the chat right now. There we go. Or you can use the QR code. That's why I took my camera off for a moment. So you can scan that QR code. So now let's get into tonight's live stream here. There we go. We should be there. Okay, yes. So let's talk about why routines matters for autistic adults. It's a very important aspect of this. We need to look into this. So for many autistic adults, function better with predictability. I know that I do. Oh, good God, when things get unpredictable, I get. I used this word last week. My wife's grandfather used this word called miscabubulated, which means I'm all stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious. Sometimes I have meltdowns. Sometimes they shut down. Sometimes they're both. Yeah. So yes, many autistic adults, and this really does speak to me, function better with predictability. And that means knowing what is coming. I don't like going to big events. I don't know about you, but I don't like going to big events, okay? Because I don't know what's going to happen. But if I go to a big event and there's a program, like if I went to church and there's a little program, bulletin program, then I know what's coming. I do better. Now, I've gone to events where people get awards and stuff, and that's a little overwhelming for me. But if I get to be a presenter or I'm going to accept something, I know when my time's coming, I have a better idea what's going on, then that predictability or that knowing what's coming helps me with this. And the same thing with routine. Knowing what's going to be coming up next in your day kind of, helps you because it's predictable. You know what's coming. A routine also helps us to know what to expect. So let's say for me, every morning at let's pick this one. Every morning around 9 o'clock, I start the washing machine. I know it's going to come up at 9 o'clock. I'm going to do that. Why do I do it at 9? I get up at 6, so I should get up at 6. I do it at 9 because, well, I'm cheap, and that's off peak hours. Well, during the winter it is. So I run the washing machine then. So I know it's coming. I know what to expect at 9 o'clock. I know what I'm going to do. 9 o'clock at night. Each night at 9 o'clock, I start the dishwasher. I make sure the cat has food and water before I go to bed. And that I know is coming up. I expect it. And that gives me comfort. And a routine uh, gives you what your brain needs to prepare for. It helps you know what to prepare for. If you know that you're going to have lunch at noon, unless you have, a routine of I'm always going to have a ham and cheese sandwich at noon, you can start preparing. What do I want to have for lunch? What am I going to do for lunch? That's another benefit of routines. Now, having this predictability can lower stress dramatically. I don't know about you, but it can. It does me. When I don't have a routine or when someone interrupts my routine, my stress level skyrockets. Because without structure, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming because transitions are hard. I don't know about you. Transitions are really hard for me, going from one thing to another. Now, if I initiate the transition or I know it's coming, I can handle it. Okay. But if a transition comes up that I'm not expecting or that somebody else initiates, like somebody said, let's go out to the mall. I was not expecting that. And then I have to transition from being in my house to getting in a car, dealing with traffic, and going to the mall. And that makes it hard. But if I know what's coming up from my routine, that makes it easier for me. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the task itself. And that task being, your routine. It's starting. Now, you may notice you feel more regulated when meals are consistent. I feel regulated in the morning, not because I eat bran muffins, which I don't, and not that kind of regulated. I'm just talking about emotionally regulated here. Uh, I have a bowl of Frosted Flakes every morning. They're great. Still love those. I've had them every morning practically since I was 3 years old. So, meals are consistent. I have that every morning, every day for lunch, at least Monday through Friday. I usually have a ham and cheese sandwich with a lot of Miracle Whip. And dinner is consistent, but yet not. Like Friday night is pizza night. Gotta have pizza on Friday night. And Thursday night tonight, because I usually eat around 6. That's when we started the live stream. I have a snack or something. It's cool. Uh, you'll feel more regulated when mornings are predictable. I know I do. I feel regulated but overwhelmed. I'm going to tell you why. My mornings start out like this. My alarm goes off at 5:30. It buzzes for 10 minutes. It's across the room. I should get up and turn it off. Nope. I know if I ignore it for 10 minutes, it will stop. Now, I should get up and take a shower and all, other stuff. But no, I lay in bed till 6 o'clock when my AI device starts playing 80s music. Then I slowly drag myself out of bed. Now, this is predictable. I know that I'm going to have to get up, get dressed, get dressed, brush my teeth, shave, shower, feed the cat, put away the dishes, take care of my mom because I take care of her. She's 87. So I get her breakfast as well, and take my meds and clean the litter box. There's 10 things I have to do straight off in the morning. So yes, I do feel regulated knowing those 10 things, but there's 10 things I got to do right out of the gate in the morning. That causes me to have anxiety. So it's kind of for me a double-edged sword. So I'm thinking I need to cut down how many things I do in the morning from 10 to something a little bit more manageable, but that's just me. You also feel more regulated when downtime is protected. We all need downtime. I thought I heard my cat. We all need downtime, whether you're neurodiverse, neurotypical, whatever. Everyone needs downtime. And sometimes it's hard to get downtime. But if you set aside time each and every day for you to have your own personal downtime, that's going to help you stay regulated. I have problems with that. And I'll tell you what my problems are. Not only do I have autism, I have ADHD, and getting me to settle down at times is somewhat hard, but I'm trying. I'm trying. One thing is on Friday nights was my time with my wife. It was just our time together. And if you're new here, my wife passed away about 6 months ago. So Friday nights are a little bit hard right now, but that's another story for another day. But Friday nights, it was just her and me. I would shut off my technology. I would not answer text messages, emails, nothing. It gave me downtime. And that does help. The downtime really does help. And when I feel a lot of anxiety, downtime is my go-to activity. Another thing that will help you feel regulated is knowing what your day looks like. Each day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3:30, I start wrapping up my work for the day. Except on Thursdays, obviously this. And I start thinking, what 3 things do I want to accomplish tomorrow? Especially if tomorrow's Monday through Friday. And Friday, I'll do it for the following Monday. So I know what I want to accomplish work-wise. And so I kind of plan out in my mind what my day looks like. I think about any schedules, activities, any appointments I have, that kind of stuff. So I know what my day looks like. And waking up knowing that, or going to bed knowing that, helps me go to sleep. Waking up knowing that, it helps me be a little bit more regulated because I know what's coming that day. Now, what's one routine that generally helps you feel grounded or regulated? For me, let me think about that for a second. While you type your chat, answer into chat. What is one routine that genuinely helps you feel grounded or regulated? Hmm. Um, I'm just trying to think the problem is I'm trying to develop routines, okay? And we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight too. But um, what's one routine that helps me feel good? I think this is weird. Every night when my wife was with me before she passed away, we would go to bed. For the last 5 years before we went to bed, I would say, I love you. She would say, I love you. Then I would say, I love you more. She would say, I love you more. Then I would say, I love you bunches and bunches and bunches. And she would say back to me, I love you bunches and bunches and bunches. Even though she passed away the day before Thanksgiving last year, each night I do that around 9:30 or 10 at night as I climb into bed, like I did before she was taken from me by cancer. The other thing is at 9 o'clock at night, I have on my little Amazon device a little announcement that says, "Hey Kim, please remind Chris to start the dishwasher." Now, when she was alive, I would be in the living room or wherever I'm in the house, and I would either say, "Okay, I'm going to take care of that right now," or "I already got it started, dear." I still do those things, and they help me feel grounded. They also help me feel connected to my wife that I'm working through the grieving process. So that is probably one or two routines that help me feel grounded or regulated. It really helps me in the evenings. So for Vance, he says making breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's good. You know what else I love doing? It brought up a really interesting point that helps me feel grounded. I don't do it every day. Well, think about where I live in Missouri. So January is not going to be the best time to do this, and you know we have inclement weather here and there. I love to barbecue chicken. That helps me not only regulate. Oh, it's relaxing. You know that smoke that comes off the fire? Oh, that's one of those like to me a scented candle that helps me relax. I love that. I love barbecuing chicken. Now let's move on and talk about why most routines fail. Most of our routines we want to do, we come up with them, we think this is great. I'm gonna love this routine, but it never seems to work. I know I struggle with that. I think one reason routines fail is because we build them around perfection instead of support. My routine, I'm supposed to get up, like I mentioned, around 5:30 in the morning. Okay. 5:30 alarm goes off. By 5:40, I should be up doing stuff, right? I don't. And because that mistake, it throws off my whole day. Now, I noticed this about me back in the 1980s. I used to work in radio and I had a morning show. And whenever anything went wrong, that first 30 minutes of my show, a song did not play when it was supposed to, a commercial did not load or whatever, it threw me off for the entire day because I expected everything to run perfectly in my routine. Life is not perfect, it's messy, and I got to learn. I'm working on learning that, okay? But yeah, because we expect our routines to be perfect, we expect to do them perfectly, we envision that, and it doesn't happen. This is why our routines fail. We say, "Oh, this is too hard, screw it," and and we need to give ourselves more grace and design the routines not for protect to be perfect, not expect perfection, but to design the routines for our support. Now we try to create these huge productivity systems. And I have a routine, I have a dream routine. I'm not going to share it with you, it's pretty lengthy, of what my day will look like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. It's very elaborate, but it doesn't work because it's too elaborate. Then when we miss one day or even one activity during the day, we feel like we have failed. A lot of autistic adults also struggle with all or nothing thinking. If I can't do it perfectly, why try? Yeah. It's like Homer Simpson's advice he gave to Bart Simpson once. If at first you don't succeed, just give up. Or something to those words. Instead of try again, just give up. It's not good for you. Now, here's a key point I want to share. A missed day does not destroy a routine, or a missed part of the routine does not destroy a routine. Get back up there. I mean, you learn how to ride a bicycle. You're going to fall. Just because you fall off the bike does not mean you're not going to ever be able to ride a bike. You get back up and ride on it again. Same with a horse. Just give yourself grace. The rigid, I'm reading what Vance wrote here. I agree. The rigid routines, um, more resemble demands and offer the possibility of failure. Yeah, that's true. The more rigid you are, the more likely you're setting yourself up to fail. I got to learn to create a routine that's a little bit more flexible. But I'm one of these people, I love structure. I don't know about you, but I'm a big structure person. Love it. Another point I'd like to make here, be a perfect spot for this. Your routine should help your nervous system, not punish you. Okay? Don't make the routine where it's like, oh my gosh, this is torture. Why did I even think of doing this? So let me give you a few examples here. A bad routine mindset It's unrealistic expectations. Like you expect to do everything in one day and get all this stuff done, and you have it booked when you have no time for breaks, but every day something's going to come up and interrupt what your plans are for that day. Overscheduling. You overschedule or overextend yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure, okay? And one of the things that happens when we overschedule, we don't give ourselves downtime, which we really do need to help us regulate. And here's one thing that we do: copying neurotypical productivity advice. A lot of advice out there on how to be productive. Most of it's written for neurotypical people. And I came up with this great expression. I'm going to make a meme for this, okay? So don't steal my idea. I'm going to share it, but don't steal this idea. I want to get a meme that has a picture of a yardstick in it. And I want to say something like, stop measuring yourself with a neurotypical yardstick. You're neurodiverse. You need to use your own yardstick or something like that. Because that's what we do. Because everything in this world basically is designed for the neurotypical person. We're not neurotypical. And we got to quit copying the neurotypical production advice, because it works great if you're neurotypical, but we're neurodiverse. So we got to find our own paths. Now, for a better mindset, create routines that have flexible structure. You have to be flexible in life. I like being rigid, okay? I like things happening a certain time, certain way. Be flexible. Create routines that have lower pressure. Give yourself some breathing room during the day. That will help. Create sustainable habits and be energy aware. Don't create routines that drain your energy by noon and you're done for the day, and then you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, let's talk about the 3-step routine framework. Step 1, we start small. So we're getting into how to build a good routine here, okay? One of the biggest mistakes is trying to change your whole life overnight. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed today. I'm going to think, I'm going to do, okay, tomorrow's going to be a great day. I'm going to do all these things, get it all done. Something's going to come up tomorrow. Something I did not expect. And it's going to throw me. So we're trying to change our whole life. Like, I don't want to sleep in tomorrow. I want to get these things done in the morning. I need to pick baby steps. If you ever seen the movie What About Bob, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you're not going to change overnight, okay? Rome wasn't built in a day. And habits take a while, and routines take a while to work. And when you're building a routine, give yourself some grace and learn from it. Say, well, that works. That really didn't work. Let me try tweaking it instead of giving up on it. So one of the biggest mistakes, that, like I mentioned before, is trying to change your whole life overnight. Instead, we start with one anchored routine. Maybe that anchored routine would be, for me, actually getting up at 5:30 in the morning and turning off that alarm clock instead of crawling underneath my weighted blanket and waiting for it to shut itself off. Just one little thing can make a difference. And then you build upon that by building more and more anchor routines and more routines and activities that helps you be regulated. So here's some examples that you can use at an anchor routine. Same wake up time. Okay, I kind of have this. I do wake up because the alarm wakes me up, but I don't get up. So in my case, I got to not only wake up, I got to get up. Okay. An evening shutdown routine. I'm kind of doing that. At 8 in the evening, I have a reminder on my AI devices for me to disconnect digitally and to take some melatonin, which helps me go to sleep. Another one could be a morning coffee ritual. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker. I love the smell of coffee, but I just don't care for the taste of it. I remember reading somewhere, and this was an honest question, and this will show you how my mind works, okay? It said, what is a barista's biggest fear? And my answer to that is that people discover they can make coffee at home. If there was some way, some technology out there, like, I don't know, a Mr. Coffee machine that could make coffee at home, imagine how much money we would not be wasting at Starbucks, right? Another anchor routine you can create is a 10-minute decompression time. Put a little break between things that are big. Like, like I do, I have done. I work from home. This is hard to do. but I will get off work and I'll spend 10 minutes decompressing before I spent time with my wife in the evening. Just, stay in the office, kind of shut down things and, and, get ready to transition into time with my wife. Just decompress, let out all that stress. Another thing you can do as an anchor routine is brushing your teeth before you go to bed. That's a very good thing. you know, an old expression that I always said, be true to your teeth or they'll be false to you. So you do want to brush your teeth before you go to bed. Now, key line I want you to remember is this: small routines build trust with yourself. And it builds confidence. When you have a small little routine and you start seeing yourself doing it, you say, I did that. I've done that. I could do a little bit more now. It's a confidence builder, and you're building your own self confidence. Now, the second thing that, the second step would be build around energy. Build your routine around energy, not around perfection. Some autistic adults do better with flexible structure instead of rigid structures. I I don't know where I fall in this one, okay? I like the rigidness of a schedule, routine. I have always been very interested, even as a young kid. I love TV because at the top of each hour, the bottom of each hour, half an hour show, they always did a legal ID. You know what's coming? It was predictable. I love buses, city buses, because they have a schedule. At a certain time, they're going to be here, there. I love that rigidness. But with my ADHD side, it wants me to be flexible. It does. It is a battle. So maybe in my case, I need to have structure that's both flexible structure and rigid schedules. I need to find the right mixture for myself. So instead of saying at exactly 2 p.m., I must do this, try after lunch, I'll do this. Instead of giving a precise time, just say approximate time. That creates structure without making the routine feel suffocating. Here's some examples that you could do. You could do post-work decompression. We talked about that a little while ago. Sensory reset breaks. Sometimes when I start feeling overwhelmed, I would take a break and listen to my autism calming and relaxing music playlist I found on Spotify, and that helps. Sometimes you have to take those breaks. It's okay to take a break. We think that, well, our neurotypical peers don't take breaks. We're weak. No, we're different. It's okay if we need to take a break. Give yourself permission to do that. Another thing that we can do that will help us with building a routine is create transition routines. Like I said, I would do some decompression time between working in the office and being with my wife in the evening. And of course, give yourself, this is an important one, okay? I know I've done this. Recovery time after socializing. When my wife and I first got married, we lived in the same town where my parents lived in and her parents lived in. And at Thanksgiving, the same at Christmas, we would go to one family's house, let's say at 11 in the morning. Stay there till around 1 or 2, which was way longer than I wanted to stay because I'm not really good at small talk. But yeah, that's another story for another day. Then we would come back to the apartment and we would stay there for 1 to 2 hours for me to have recovery time after socializing before we see the other side of the family. And that really helped me through the holidays because before I would do them bam, bam, back to back. And then by the time I got to the second house, I was in no condition, and not because I drink, because I don't, I was in no condition to socialize. I was a jerk. Okay. So recovery time after socializing is a great way to start building a routine, and it's very, very helpful. Now, step 3 is we want to reduce friction. So if something is hard to start, make the first step easier. Here's some examples. Lay clothes out early. You may even want to pick the clothes you want to wear tonight, before you go to bed. Today, I had to go to my doctor. which means I had to leave the house, which I hate doing, but we'll talk about that in another video. And my doctor knows, because my doctor is my doctor and was my wife's doctor too, and she knows we were very close. In fact, I have a great doctor. I'm not going to say my doctor's name, but the night before my wife passed away, she came and visited, not as a physician. She just came and visited me and my wife as my wife was no longer responsive and spent some time with us. Wonderful doctor. So she knows about that. So I decided, what do I want to wear? And I looked at all my shirts. And I finally picked this one. I know it's not going to show up with the camera, but it says, I wear pink for someone I love. And it has the little breast cancer ribbon on it because my wife passed away from breast cancer. And I wore this little pin. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up, but I wore this little pendant that has a picture of my wife on it, and inside are some ashes from her there. And I thought that out. And then this morning when I woke up, I already knew what I was going to wear. Less anxiety. And I was prepared. Another thing you can do is prep food ahead of time. I've not really tried this because when I'm the type of person, I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat now. I don't prep food usually. Now, I will a little bit here. Once a week, usually Saturday mornings, I don't have my Frosted Flakes. I have bacon and eggs. And the leftover bacon I save so during the week I can make bacon cheeseburgers. Another thing that can be helpful is reminders. Like I mentioned on earlier, I have my Amazon devices remind me at certain times to do certain things. Keep important things visible. A lot of us, we get a taxes to do, right? And we like to hide that tax letter or whatever, right? It's important, but we don't want to deal with it. You got to keep those important things visible. Yes, they can be a little bit annoying, but you know what? That's going to help you get those done. And finally, simplify choices. You know, instead of going to the refrigerator and think, what can I have for dinner? Look at all those things, right? Ask yourself, what frozen TV dinners do I have? You know, and then pick it from there. Now, important to know, autism-friendly routines often succeed because they reduce the sensation of being overwhelmed. That's one of the major benefits for having a routine. Have you found that routines help reduce your feeling of being overwhelmed? I know it does me because for me, having a routine and know what I'm going to do, when and where, instead of me thinking, oh my gosh, look at the giant pile of stuff I got to do. And then I feel like that pile's attacking me. But if I have a routine and I know in the morning I'm going to write some scripts for videos, and in the afternoon I'm going to shoot the videos, I feel less overwhelmed because everything seems more manageable for me. Now, let's talk about routines during burnout. Burnout changes everything. We all know that, right? And during burnout, even basic routines can feel impossible. Now, that does not mean you are lazy, and it does not mean you have failed. In fact, I was reading a book today, and I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but it referenced another book. And it basically had the premise that there's no such thing as laziness. Now, I'm going to really study up on that and probably do a video on that later. But it's just, laziness is not a thing. So when you have burnout and your basic routines feel impossible, remind yourself you're not lazy because laziness does not exist. And it does not mean you have failed. Burnout does not mean that. Sometimes your routine during burnout is simply just to eat. I'm burned out, but I'm going to get myself to eat. I'm just going to do that. Or I'm going to stay hydrated. In fact, I need to take a drink right now. I told my doctor I'm trying to drink 5 or 6 bottles of water a day, and I got to keep my word. Because I'm going to be sending you a link to this YouTube channel, so I got to get my word. Anyway, another thing when you're going through burnout, maybe the one routine that's going to help you and you want to focus in on is shower. All of these are important. I don't know which one's most important. Rest is another one, or just survive the day. I think eat and hydrate are pretty important, but if you just can do one that first day of burnout, that's the start, and we build upon that, okay? And honestly, Doing this stuff, whether it be eat, hydrate, shower, rest, or just survive the day, that still matters. Remember, you do not have to earn rest by being productive. When your body needs rest, answer that call. Your body's trying to tell you something. Don't ignore it. I'm going to check the chat here. Yeah. And we're talking about, preparing meals in advance. Advance says, I make dinner for several days ahead. All I have to do is reheat it. That's a great plan. When I was single, uh, and young, where you don't have a lot of money. I mean, have you ever seen the Jeff Foxworthy sketch? You're young, single, and you don't care. You have a party out because if everything's destroyed, you're out what, $75? No big deal. You know, uh, I would go to McDonald's, and then this was really cool. It's like in the '90s, okay, 1990s, and they would on Wednesdays have 29-cent hamburgers, and on Sunday 39-cent cheeseburgers, and that's unheard of today. But I would go there and buy like 5 or 10 of each of those and put them in my freezer and eat one a day. Okay, it got me. I don't like top ramen or whatever it's called. I don't like that stuff. So that was my meal. I was like, okay, 40 cents times five, that's $2. 450, about $5 a week, and I got myself dinner for the whole week. I mean, that was cool. Now, let's talk about encouragement. Little discussion here. I think the healthiest routines are not about control. They are about support. And that means supporting ourselves and our needs. Not how do I force myself to function? That is not going to help us, okay? That's a control one. How do I force myself to function? You're trying to control yourself. Instead, you want to say, how do I support myself better? Because that's what we really need to focus in on with our autism, the challenges we face in life. We need to find ways to support ourselves because some will say, and I think there's some truth to this argument, that our society does not support autism very well. It's not very understanding, supportive, accommodating. So we have to support ourselves. Now, I have a few final questions before we wrap up tonight, and I'm going to throw them out here. And if anyone wants to say anything in the chat, feel free to. And if you're watching this in a afterwards, put it in the comment section. I read every single comment, and if I don't reply to it, actually, I will do you a thumbs up once I read it. So I do read them all. Okay, what is one small routine you want to build? As I mentioned earlier, for myself, I want to build the routine in the morning, not to have like 10 things hitting me all at once, but break it up a little bit so I don't feel so anxious. And another routine I like to build, that's a small one, is actually getting out of bed when the alarm goes off in the morning instead of, like I said earlier, crawling underneath my weighted blanket. So what routine, let me see if anything, no, nothing yet. Okay. What routine helps you regulate the most? I mentioned this earlier for me. It's me having those, still having those, now they're one way, conversations with my wife around 9 o'clock in the evening. That kind of helps me feel regulated. It does. And Uh, it does. It really does. I think it does help me the most. Now, do you prefer structure, flexibility, or both? I prefer structure. I'm going to be honest with you. I prefer structure. That's the autism side of me. My ADHD side likes flexibility. It's just a battle. It's like there's constantly a civil war inside of me. So, do you prefer structure or both? I guess I would have to say I prefer both. But the truth is, there's a part of me that likes structure and part likes flexibility. And I really like the structure more than flexibility. But my ADHD side, my impulsive side, it likes the flexibility. So what about you? I want to build a routine for cleaning the house. That's a great one to start with, Vance. I think it's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful start. Yeah, because for me, my wife passed away, as I mentioned, and I love her dearly. I still love her, okay? And I don't want to badmouth her, but I swear she had a hoarding problem. Okay. I may mention this in another live stream. I don't know. While I was cleaning through the house after she passed away, I found a container of these Pepsi caps that had little codes in them. And this is from, I don't know, early 2000s, maybe late 1990s, whatever, that you would enter these codes in to get free music off of iTunes. I still, to this day, do not know why she saved those. Okay. But by cleaning up the house and getting rid of all the, what I call clutter, I feel more relaxed. I feel more regulated because all the clutter that I was living in because she holds on to everything forever was really causing me to feel dysregulated. But I spent the last 6 months cleaning the house. We sent probably over 10 pickup truck fulls of stuff for donation. I cannot even count the number of garbage can full of garbage we've thrown out, and all. So it's just it's horrible. I miss her, but I don't miss the clutter. Okay, but yeah, cleaning the house and getting it organized in a way that's going to support you and your autism is going to be great for you. It's a great routine. Get that routine going. Work on it. Let me know how that goes for you. Okay. And you prefer structure with a little flexibility to reduce stress. That's probably a good mixture. Structure with flexibility. I merged flexible and structure together. Flexure. New word. I'm going to have to copyright that word later. Okay, so here's what I would like you to do. If this video, and I got a big announcement coming up, so don't go anywhere. We've got a really big announcement, it's a fun one coming up here. Um, if this video has resonated with you, first of all, thank you for sitting through the whole thing. Please do me a little favor. Hit the like button so more people can find this video. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want, if you haven't already, that is, please subscribe for more conversations like this. And more videos are going to be coming up on the channel. I'm going to be, I lost my wife last Thanksgiving. And I've only been able to get myself to do lives, and it took me almost 5 months to do that. But I'm getting back in the swing of things. You're going to see more videos being posted up here, not just lives. We're going to have some actual videos coming up in the next couple of weeks. And the podcast, that one that started at the end of April, it's going to be coming this summer. So great things are coming ahead. And remember, getting back to our topic that we have been talking about tonight about routines, needing a routine does not make you weak. It doesn't. For many adults, routines is how we create regulation, stability, and safety in a very overwhelming world. Now, here is the big announcement, okay? Let me get everything ready here because I gotta do something here. This it? That might be it. Hold on. Join us live next week. We're gonna be doing something a little bit different. Hold on a second. I'm climbing close to the screen to see something. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, here we go. We're gonna try something different next week. Kind of want to get more interaction here. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Where did they put it? Man, where is it? Hold on. Give me a second. And give me a second. Share. Try to find share. Where did they put share? They move stuff on me. I hate it when they do that. Don't you? All right. Fudge. Oh, there it is. I'm looking right at it. Hello. Okay. So we're going to do something really different next week. It's going to be really fun. We are going to have an interactive one, more interactive. So join us live next week on the Confident Autistic Live. We are diving into 10 plus sensory overload triggers for late diagnosed autistic adults. Now, during this live stream, we will talk about common triggers that many of us experience. And I want your help to build the list live in the chat. So I'm going to bring 10 items, but I want you to bring others that can add to the list, okay? So we're going to make this a community project, and we're going to create 10 plus sensory triggers. These are going to be 10 plus sensory overload triggers for late diagnosed autistic adults. And so please join me next week. So if you ever felt overwhelmed by lights, noise, crowds, textures, or things others don't seem to notice. This live stream next week, live event, a conversation is for you. So join us next week and share your experiences, okay? I know that I get overwhelmed by noise and crowds. And lights a little bit if they're really bright. Textures, very few, but everyone's different, okay? But yeah, we're going to be talking about all this next week. And I want you to bring your sensory triggers, and we're going to build a really awesome list together. So that's next Thursday night, May 21st at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, May 21st, 2026. Or you can watch the replay anytime afterwards on right here on this YouTube channel, the Confident Autistic TV. So let me take a peek at the chat. Nothing new there. That's cool. That's cool. So until next time, I am the Confident Autistic, reminding you that we can live confidently autistic.